I got involved with the North Shore Schizophrenia Society because of my brother's illness.
My brother has schizophrenia.
The person in my family that's ill is my sister.
I'm going to be talking about my daughter.
So it was my brother.
My son.
My husband.
My father, and then my eldest son.
My brother is the one in my family who is very ill.
I'm diagnosed with schizoaffective bipolar type.
What happens when somebody falls ill and is psychotic is that the person that you knew is no longer there. So it's like losing that person. They sort of go somewhere else. They're in another world.
Everything to him was real, so he didn't realize he was ill, and I didn't realize he was ill either.
Lots of flight of ideas, very super talkative. Almost like another personality had taken over.
I ended up leaving my parents' house and dropped out of school when I was about 16, and I became addicted to drugs.
My brother ended up being homeless and living under a bridge in North Vancouver.
It was a whole pattern of behavior that we just didn't understand, and we couldn't find out from anybody what the problem was.
Suddenly here was a situation where he certainly couldn't cope, and I found myself just on the brink of wondering if I was going to be able to cope with things, if I was going to lose it.
We couldn't get her help, and we couldn't get her to a doctor, and we couldn't get a diagnosis, and we had no legal rights to insist on that.
So I just knew I needed to learn about his illness. I just knew that he could be better, but how?
I saw a little tiny advertisement in the North Shore News.
At my workplace, a poster came by my desk.
Actually, I was just driving by and I saw the sign.
The North Shore Schizophrenia Society was established in the early 1980s. People come through the door, and very often they actually look frightened. They're under so much stress.
I expected something to do with biology, physiology, some background information on the illness.
I didn't know how many people were going to be there. You know, I didn't know there were going to be 3 people or 20, you know.
It just seemed like a real group of other people who had all different issues going on in their lives, but we were quite compatible.
You know, as you got to know the other people in the class and everybody started feeling comfortable, I mean, very quickly, you know, you realized you could open up and you could be honest about what was going on.
What really counts in family to family is that the co-teachers have ill relatives of their own and have been through it.
You have to not only kind of know what you're about to teach, you have to you're a performer. You know, you have to kind of engage the class.
Here we have an opportunity to speak to other people that have ill family members and share their experiences and receive moral support and be able to offer the support to others.
So it wasn't just somebody up there teaching a curriculum. They had actually experienced it and, you know, brought a lot of value into the course.
People just like me who've done the best they could, but with the tools that they were getting and the support they were getting, they could, you know, be much more powerful advocate for their family member, but also I found even, you know, for themselves, for myself.
People that have never run into this or never had a family member or someone close to them who has had a mental illness basically don't understand it or they don't want to know about it. But if you've had direct contact with this, it gives you a much better perspective to teach other people, without a doubt.
I mean, they need a huge medal to just wear around all the time as far as I'm concerned.
I rarely use the word transformative because for me it's a bit of a cliche. But family to family is one case where the word transformative really works.
The way the course is designed, it kind of takes you through a journey. So, you know, and you only realize this when you come to the end, that somebody has actually taken you on a journey.
Every week I would come in, and before I came in I'd go like, okay, you know, I'm not in denial. This is good. I'm really getting the feel for this. And I'd sit down, and it always felt like in the first 5 or 10 minutes of every class I'd go like, oh, you know, you are so in denial.
I think the favorite experiences were the workshops that we did.
We all were sitting in chairs, and we had one person at the front who was just giving us instructions on how to do something, and then 3 people stood in behind us and chattered in our ears while we were trying to do this exercise.
I realized I am dealing with an ill person And maybe some of the reactions or conversations we're having, it's not my brother, but it's the illness.
I believe my parents and my sisters ended up learning more about what I was going through so they could understand, so they weren't so mad that I pushed them away.
Even issues around resentment over the mental illness, resentment about my husband, you know, frustration or denial, all those things, there was a place to bring them up, to bring them to the surface. And that was very helpful for me.
It certainly changed the way I looked at my son, and I had much more feeling for an understanding of his situation.
When everybody else was saying, just let him go, let it be, let life take its course, I had that strength and that empowerment from the course.
It helped us navigate from not knowing what to do, being absolutely, totally afraid, to now at a point where I feel that we can kind of, anything that comes our way, we have the tools to deal with it.
I felt confident in being able to talk to my brother's care workers and even his psychiatrist.
And so I convinced my brother to go to the hospital, and I did get him admitted.
She's now well taken care of. She's in a seniors home that she's been in for a year, and she's stable, and she's coming back.
He's doing wonderfully. I couldn't have hoped a year ago that he'd be doing as well as he is right now.
It's all positive. He's got a house, he's on his medication, he's seeing how he can live a normal life. And he hasn't been able to do that for the last 10 years.
I realized at the end that you know, you can't just take the course and then sort of go back in a way, and you know, there's more to be done.
Basically, there's a lot more to learn, and there's a lot further to go, and the course really alludes to that.
I would suggest that taking that course was life-changing for both myself, my family, and my sister. And I really don't think she would be maybe even alive right now if that hadn't happened.
I would say to phone the Family Support Center here, because even though the office hours are 9 to 5, they will talk to someone day or night.
Never lose hope. There's always a way.